Hey, Kimberly here with Money Magic Revealed. Today, I want to talk to you about risks when it comes to investing. So many people don't want to invest their money because they are so concerned about the risk of doing so. The biggest risk we usually think about is losing all of our money. I worked really hard for this money. I don't want to put it into an investment and then that company goes out of business and I lose everything. That would be foolish, right? Of course, and that's what we call business risk. The risk of putting your money into an individual company and then it goes out of business and you lose everything. Or even you put your money into a company that just has a major net loss, something really big happens to it, and you lose a big chunk of your money. That is very concerning because we don't want to lose the money we worked so hard for. The whole purpose of investing is for our money to work for us and for it to increase even while we are sleeping. So, how do you fight against this risk? And what other types of risk are there? Well, let's talk about some other risks, such as interest rate risk. So, this is the risk that you put your money into an investment and you're locked in at a certain interest rate. And meanwhile, you're losing the opportunity to make more of a return on another investment. So, right now, you can find 3 or 4% interest on different savings accounts, which is really, really good, honestly. I've seen plenty of times, even back when I worked at a bank a long time ago, where 3% was unheard of. And right now, you can easily get that. But what if you invest your money by just putting it into some account making 3% interest, but you could have been making 7, 8, 9, 10% if you would have put it into this other type of investment? Well, that's terrible. I don't want to lose the opportunity to make 8 or 9% interest. Instead, I've just been making 3%. That's interest rate risk. Another type of risk is market risk. This is the risk that just the market as a whole, the whole economy is going to decline. This is where we're looking at somewhat of a recession. If we see a recession, we see that the stock prices are going down, interest rates are going down, and people are getting really nervous about their money. And maybe you put your money into something and you were thinking things were going great, and then this whole turn in the economy happens and you end up losing money. That's a big risk as well. Another risk is inflation risk. Inflation risk is where you have put your money into some type of account or investment and it's not even making enough of a return to keep up with inflation. So, inflation is just the general rise in prices. So, things cost more than they did before. Products and services, gas, food, housing, all of these things cost more money than they did a month or a year before. So you don't want to put your money into a piggy bank and get no return or into an account making 1% interest and then inflation happens at, 5%. So wow, my money has actually lost value. Here I was thinking it's going to get 1 or 2% interest, at least it's going to be earning something, but it actually lost value compared to inflation. We don't want that to happen either. But when we have these years that have 6, 7, 8% inflation, which is terrible, we don't want that high of inflation to happen, then it's really hard to invest and keep up with that, especially with something like an emergency fund. So that's a risk as well that we have to consider. Some ways to mitigate or to step away to lessen the risks of all of these would, for one, to be research your investments ahead of time. So don't just put money into something because someone told you to, especially not if it's someone that's broke. We don't want to listen to broke people. But even if it's someone who has money and who has made wise investment decisions, we still want to do our own research before we put money into something. We also want to diversify our assets. So that means we don't put everything into this one particular company's stock. We don't put everything into real estate. We shouldn't put all of our money into an account that's earning 1% interest. We need to put our money into lots of different investments so that if perhaps something happens with the real estate market, then the rest of our money was at least somewhere that was earning money. So putting our money into several different things can help lessen or mitigate that risk. Hopefully, this helps you to understand the risks of investing and the risk of not investing and how to invest. And another word I'll mention, which I had in another video, is the word volatility. Volatility is how unpredictable that investment is. So if you invest in a company like Tesla or Nvidia, then it's going up and down constantly. It's quite a roller coaster of numbers and of emotions. So that would be a very volatile or very unpredictable stock. Whereas if you invest in a company like Walmart, it is not very volatile. It is just going to be slowly increasing in value over time. Typically, you're not going to see these huge gains, but you also aren't going to see these huge losses and unpredictability. So make wise decisions, do your research, and make sure that you spread your money across several different investments in order to decrease your risks. Hey, wait a second, don't leave yet. Did you like and subscribe? You've got to get more information like this, right? Thanks for tuning in to Money Magic Revealed.